All right. So if you are selling online, one of the most important things is you have something to sell and something to sell that people want to buy. Because without something to sell that people want to buy, there is no business. And so as you're looking to grow and expand, you got to have not just more people to sell to, but more things to sell to those people. So as you're looking for things to sell to people, I'm excited for this conversation because we're going to go beyond just putting in certain parameters into certain tools and hoping you find a hidden gem that no one else who was looking for those same parameters found. And that's why I'm excited to bring on Izabella Ritz from Ritz Momentum. So Izabella, thank you for joining us on Maximizing E-commerce.
Thank you so much for having me. And as you know, I was chasing you down for like half a year, a little bit more, till I finally met you at the boat at this Search Summit event. Yeah,
Oh
last
yeah, the
week.
Surge, the Surge
Yep,
Summit event in Tampa. You
in
and I met
Tampa.
face to face. Yeah,
Correct.
I do get quite a few people reach out to me wanting to come on and stuff. And if I haven't met them and I don't know them, I generally,
You don't want to talk to them
well, it's not so
and
much that I
share.
don't want to talk to them. It's just, you know, I like to focus on the people that I have developed some level of trust and comfort level in. And you
And
and I
I
had a good chance to
understand.
talk, and I liked kind of just the general direction we had a conversation. So we didn't go real deep on your methodologies with like finding products. You kind of gave an overview, and I could definitely tell just in a few minutes that you weren't just putting in must be, within the size of a shoebox type dimensions, 20 units a day, certain parameters or whatever. I don't even know what people necessarily look for anymore these days. So, um, if you don't mind, before we get into all that, just share with everyone a little bit about yourself. Who are you and how did you get in this business?
Who I am. Yeah, I am someone who was born in Soviet Union.
Mhm.
This country does not exist anymore, as you
Right, right.
probably know. Yeah. So that I was, I think I was 18 years old when I decided that I'm not going to live in Russia. I have to find a very good spot for myself. I launched my first business when I was 17, and I
Mm.
sold this business when I was 18 years old. And that was the teaching business. I was teaching people how to uh, my first seminar was about how to do the trade shows and how to perform there and how to convert people who are just walking by. And then I created the company for the business training center
Okay.
for the
Time out. I'm very curious about this. Is
okay.
this happening in the Soviet Union or
And
is this happening
that was already
here?
in Russia. Like it was, so if I was 17 and it was the year of 2000, so it's 8 years after Soviet Union fall apart.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. So I remember I was in kind of creating my own timeline here just for
Yeah.
reference, somewhat for me. So I was like, I think in ninth grade, my dad and I got tickets to some hockey exhibition in Dallas, and it was the US hockey team versus it was going to be the Soviet Union. Like, but like they came out and like nobody knew what to call them because I think the Soviet Union had like just folded not too soon before then.
Okay.
Um, okay, so you ended up in post, so 8 years after the
Yeah.
fall of the Soviet Union, you were
And
teaching people how to do trade shows at
yeah.
17. How did you even think to do that in a
Correct.
former Soviet country?
That was another story. So the backup story about it, I was working for one of the companies that was the manufacturer, and they've been manufacturing the metal, um, different like sticks and metal constructions to build the buildings.
Okay.
And they told me, okay, now we need we are going to the trade show. You are the one who is creating this trade show. I'm like, what? I have no idea what it is.
Okay.
I'm still at school. I don't know how to do that. They're like, well, figure that out. We need to make it happen. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. So I started Googling, and Russia was using internet for by this time about maybe 3 4 years. So
Hmm.
if you remember, like Pentium second, Pentium first, those
Oh yeah, Pentium computers.
yes,
They're
they
so
computers
fast back then.
back then, yes.
Yes.
So and we've been using modems, so we didn't have like LAN or like Ethernet or
Right.
something.
You're
Yeah,
to
that was
log in.
pretty slow. And I remember how I was using ICQ, if you remember this one as well, to like communicate with my team, not to go
What's
to
ICQ? It sounds.
ICQ. It was the chat, like with this flower as the icon,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
people have been talking to each other. So it was like very long time ago.
Okay.
Anyway, and I found the seminar that someone is teaching people how to do the trade shows, how to go to the exhibitions, and how to convert people, what triggers you're supposed to put on. That was the first time when I learned what is trigger, what's conversion, and what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was such an animal that I didn't know what to do with that.
Mm.
So anyway, I asked my director at the time when I asked him, like, can I go? Can I learn? He said, yeah, of course. And the cost was $350, which is a lot, which was a lot for Russia. I'm like, okay, they're paying, I'm coming. I went there, I'm like, that's actually pretty nice business. Not just the trade shows, but to teach people. Like, let me try to recreate it after I created the exhibition, and the trade show was pretty
Okay.
successful. At least I thought it's successful. My boss liked it. Everybody liked it. We converted some. I'm like, okay, let me try to recreate the course. So I posted resume that I can teach people how to do this trade show. And
Okay.
because Russia was pretty naked about like these proposals, nobody know how to do stuff, and people were hungry for knowledge.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, oh, I actually have some responders and I have attendees. Let me do that. And I reach out one of the companies who've been doing the consultings. They've been also doing the training sessions, and they've been creating the training and not the webinars, trainings, corporate trainings as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, yeah, of course, come over. We're inviting you as a trainer. Let's do that. So I came there as a trainer. I was 17. And you can imagine I had to perform in front of like big guys who are like big managers at the car companies, coffee companies, and like different production companies. I'm like, oh my gosh, whatever. I am fearless. I'm gonna do that. And people
Wow.
liked it. And I don't know. I didn't know how to interact. I didn't know how to entertain. I didn't know how to ask the questions. I didn't know any of that stuff.
Well,
But
because you
people
you
like
grew up in a country where there was not capitalism. There wasn't
no,
a
absolutely.
market economy.
No, no, it's communism. The country was a communism country, no capitalism and nothing. It's still, the capitalism is still not there at all, and they're judging capitalism. Like to be wealthy, it's a shame. Like you're gonna be embarrassed to be wealthy.
Mm.
So, and I'm like, well, that was kind of cool. And they paid me about like I think that was also 350. They paid me to be there for 2 days,
Okay.
and they sold this oh my God, not webinar, the seminar. See how
Mm-hmm.
many webinars they were doing that. So they sold this seminar for 350 per person, and they sold it to 12 people. I calculated pretty quickly. I'm like, okay, so rent the room, invite the people, pay to the trainer, them. It's a pretty good business. I'm going to recreate this business. I'm not
Okay.
going to see like, of course, yeah, I kept working with this company for a little bit, and then when I was at the same time when I was working for the manufacturer, I created my own company, this business training center, and I invited different trainers, and they've been so happy to work with me. They didn't have entrepreneurial mindset, and
Mm-hmm.
nobody wanted to create their own company because nobody wanted to chase the customers. Nobody wanted to promote it, and I loved it. At
Mm.
some point, I realized that like, okay, I have a pretty big revenue, but I don't have much profit like to buy a car. I was able to travel. I was able to go to the restaurants. I was able to do that stuff, but I couldn't buy a car, but I wanted the car. I'm like, okay, what should I do? What should I do? Let me try to sell the company. How I came up with this idea, I still don't know.
Okay.
Because at the year of 2001, like if you'll just think Russia, 2001, like the situation there, selling company, creating company, like how?
Right, because
And
people aren't thinking along those lines.
yeah, and I found the other company, they've been a broker and they actually been selling companies, and they had free space just to post and advertise something like, if you want to sell the company, please come over. Uh, and I posted and I got so many leads. I'm like, oh my gosh, to sell the company is actually the thing. And I got
Okay.
so many leads, and I started the price point. I don't remember. I don't want to lie, but it was something like 20K. And I end up with 35 because I'm like, oh, demand is pretty high. I'm going to increase my selling price. And I was increasing price every single day because I got so many leads. So at the end of the day, I sold the company. Of course, it was cash. Like in Russia, people are not paying with the transactions. Probably they're paying now, but back to that time, like
Hmm.
I had $35,000 in Russian. It was 1 million rubles.
Mm.
And here, like at this moment, I realized like that business exists, that money are not that hard. You just have to figure out the way. You have to find the right path, and you can make your business. And then I created other companies, and all these other companies I sold as well. I didn't sell only one, and it was my personal mistake. I just like the company was ruined. But all other companies I created and I was selling them, and the last company I sold was the one that I came to United States before I came to United States in 2015. Yep.
So how many companies did you?
I tried to calculate recently when I was on a podcast with Andrew Morgans. I think it's about 12 in Russia.
So you sold 12 companies in
Yeah.
Russia.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. So, and just so everyone has a little bit of background, you and I aren't that far away from each other. Now, I can't like just walk to where you are right now, but you're
Yeah.
about 2.5 hours from me in the Orlando area. So, if anyone
I'm not
can,
in Soviet Union
right,
anymore.
not in the Soviet Union, not in the Soviet Union right now. So you're
Yeah.
in Florida. You
Yeah.
ended up here 2015, you said?
15, yes.
Okay. So how did you then figure out, okay, I want to help people find products to sell on Amazon?
Uh, to figure out how to find the products, that happened in 2019
Okay.
because I launched my Amazon business in 2015, like a couple months later, after I came here, after I crossed the border.
Okay.
Uh,
So time out. So within a couple months of crossing the border, were you already looking at Amazon before you got here? You're like, I like this Amazon thing.
no, I was super confident that when I'll come here, everything is going to be smooth and I will find the way. And I end up with losing 100K because I just trusted people without reading the contract. So we didn't sign the contract. So I just gave my money and nothing happened. So I don't blame people. I think it's my fault because you better think before you do stuff,
Uh-huh.
think before the action. And I'm like, well, I have my last 5K and I have 3 children, and I have to do something. And I started doing the research, and I found the Amazon. Everybody been talking about Amazon. Amazon is so cool. Amazon is so great. Like, you know, just start and tomorrow you have money. And that's actually happened to me because in 2015 Amazon was super easy and super simple. And
Mm-hmm.
I think the product I launched was also great at this moment because it was silicone wine glass. And at some
Mm.
point people were buying them, and they've been pretty popular even like TG Maxx and everywhere else. And I invested this 5K, maybe it was 5,400, something like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I got the return of 14K in a month, pure profit. I'm like, damn, this
So
shit
14K in
working.
sales or 14K in
14K
profit?
in profit, in profit.
Really? Okay, that's a good return on investment.
Let me remember the number. I think my net cost was $5 something, and I was selling for about 29.39, and it was Q4 as well. So I
Oh,
was also,
wow. So
yeah, I was
the timing
also,
was right. So is this a
timing was
set
right.
of glasses or one?
It was the set of four.
Set of four. Okay.
Yeah, it was the set of four. Yeah, and the listing was okay, and everything was okay. It was
Mm-hmm.
just okay. And yeah, somehow I figured it out. Then I was losing, and then I was launching new products, and I was making more money. So it was, genuinely speaking, every other product was successful, every other was not. This is how I learned that you shouldn't sell silicone wine glasses
Mhm.
based on your intuition. And in 2017, when we crossed our first 7 figs, I realized like, oh, now we have to actually use the PPC campaigns. Only organic traffic doesn't work anymore. And
Mhm.
like you remember, lots of stuff been happening on Amazon, when Amazon like more reviews, which
Mhm.
was I think last year or a year and a half. No more giveaways, no more like search, find, buy. So we've been like going through the process layers by layers, figuring out what to do. And I remember how we started with the PPC when you could do just like broad, exact, and phrase. And now here we are. We have so many options to do our campaigns. And because I kept teaching people like about how to do business in Russia, how to find their niche and blah blah blah. I stopped doing it because I'm like, damn, I'm in United States. I cannot teach people anymore because I'm not practicing business in Russia. And people saw that I'm doing business on Amazon. And of course, and I said, I'm not going to teach you guys how to sell on Amazon. You're in Russia. I'm here. It's super hard, complicated, blah, blah, blah. But then it was one request, second request, so many requests. Of course, it's turned up with I started teaching them how to sell on Amazon. And at some point, I realized that Amazon became so complicated that it's much easier to do something for people instead of people than actually teach them. Because to find the product, you have to think not just about the cup that you're going to sell, you have
Mhm.
to think about the avatar, who is going to buy the product, what are the pain points, what is the customization process, what's your product is going to solve, what person is going to lose if they're not buying your product, and all lots of this stuff, different stuff, where if person doesn't have this business experience, doesn't have entrepreneurial mindset, people just want to do something, they're
Mm.
dreaming about doing something, they cannot came up with these questions and answer these questions for themselves and for the product. So they're not thinking 2-3 steps ahead.
Mhm.
And at this point, I decided, like, you know what? I'm just going to do my agency and we will do stuff for people. We started with the listings and EBC content, which I think were pretty strong. But then when I saw how many people are making mistakes with the products because they're coming to us, I'm like, guys, your product is not going to sell well. And I tried to analyze their products and give them an advice, like, please stop there. It's already in production. The worst customer was when he's not the worst customer, the worst product that customer
Right,
came
right,
to
right.
us. Yeah. He said, I'm going to sell this, how they call pop in, pop up, this like this silicone stuff. Everybody were going with them like 2 years
Oh,
ago.
those little poppet dealies.
Puppet. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, it's not gonna work. He said, what do you mean it's not gonna work? I'm like, did you customize something? Who is the manufacturer? I'm the manufacturer. Like, what do you mean you're a manufacturer? You have do you have like your actually your own production? He said, no, I don't. I'm like, yeah, of course, if you don't have the production, the manufacturer is someone else, means it will be so many other people who are selling the same stuff. So
Mhm.
you didn't recreate it, you didn't customize, you didn't do a box, you didn't do anything. It's not gonna work. Anyway, we created the listing because he was believing that it's gonna work. It didn't work. It
Mm.
didn't work. Not no matter how good was listing, it didn't work. And I was tried to like tell people, okay, let's test your ideas. If you want to sell something on something on Amazon, at least ask us if it's gonna work. This is how my kind of, I don't know, it's like the part of what I'm doing weekly on my Instagram in Russian language. I'm asking people, what do you want to sell on Amazon? They're posting and I'm analyzing the products and I'm telling them if it's good or not. And people started coming to us asking, okay, if I want to sell apple cider, for example, I'm like, you cannot sell apple cider if you don't have any experience because XYZ.
Right.
And people started like giving us so much feedback saying, okay, you guys just saved me 20K or 25K or 35K just on the order because I was going to jump into this niche, into this product right now.
Mm.
And I was like, actually, like the demand was creating something that we were doing. And we've been just following the crowd. So crowd was asking for something. We saw the customer's mistakes. We saw the customer demand, and we were creating the new offers. And this is how we came up with all this product development idea, that we recreated everything we're doing for ourselves to the customers. So we're looking for the product based on a lot of numbers. So we're not looking just when we put the filters 29, 39, 99, 39, 99.
Right.
Like you said, the light box or something like that. We're looking for the demand where it's not just high demand, low competition, where people are searching for this product off Amazon, and the demand is pretty strong and people cannot buy stuff, or they're ending up not to buy it at all because they cannot find something that they're looking for. And like one of the examples we found recently is I cannot share the actual, like the detail of the
Okay, it's a
product, but
widget.
it's a backdrop. It's one of the backdrop for the photography.
Oh, okay.
And yes, this one is so popular with the demand. People are searching for this specific one. Uh, and the market was offering just three of them. I'm like, really? And when we've been looking at the purchase rate, we find out that out of three of those uh, products, the conversion rate is only has two of them. And one of them has very good CTR, but they don't have sales. I'm like, it's a perfect niche. And I started
Mm.
searching on Etsy, on
Oh,
Pinterest, like Google Shopping, and like everywhere else. And I found out that like the demand's still there, but the product still not exist on the way how the customer is looking for.
so time out. So you're looking at it from the standpoint of people are searching for the product, but they're not buying it.
Yeah.
That's a it says that there's some sort of hole, some sort of niche that is available, but people don't like what is currently offered.
On the market. Yeah.
How do you know that? How do you know that they're not buying it? How do you know there's good clicks but no sales?
So one of the tools is the seller tools, is giving us an idea of the purchase rate. And when the purchase rate is pretty low based on the high volume keyword, then we're starting digging deeper into the and narrowing the keyword. And if the medium low ranking keyword still have this like small purchase rate, like 1, maybe 1.5%, means we have to explore this niche because it's already high opportunity, because something is broken here. Why the demand is there and the purchase rate is pretty low? Like, what's wrong? Because if, like, as an example, if you start researching for the headphones or earbuds, the purchase rate will be 6% and up, because people can find what they're looking for, especially if it will be like earbuds, black, noise cancellation, something.
Sure.
Yeah, so people are finding what they're looking for. And a lot of niches, people are looking for the product and they can find it. And to prove that people actually not buying those products is when we're going to Amazon Product Opportunity Explorer, which they announced that they accelerate, that they're expanding and it will be cooler and better. I didn't see it. I heard it from my colleagues who went to the event. Right now, it's not super user friendly. However, you can find the proof based on each individual keyword and the products that Amazon is listing in this specific tool, where you can see this proportion in between how many products, how many researches, and how the search volume is going up. For example, it's increasing, but the purchases are pretty low, and it's like you can't understand sometimes why the 70,000 search term and it's just $90, like serious $90 in profit. It's just something doesn't match, something is missing. And when we see all these numbers, we're starting looking for the opportunities. We're like, okay, what is going on? We're talking sometimes to the bloggers, to the influencers who are related to this specific niche. And they are telling, they can ask their audience if they're looking for that. If they're not, we're getting feedback from the audience. It's pretty quick and fast. And collecting this feedback, we're also researching for something specific. Because, for example, I am missing this cup with with an elephant and the bow tie, and but the market, for example, exists. Because, I mean, the demand does exist, but the market is not. And if everybody are saying that I'm looking, I can't buy it, we're like, okay, that's probably will be the right product. And the moment we found this product, we're validating it with the data, with the data dive. So we're like, how many keywords potential we have here, where we can rank, how many green lights we have there. And if we have like a pretty high potential, if we have a very good window, then we're starting the development. And at the moment of the development, of course, we're working with the suppliers. Of course, we're looking at the cost of goods. Of course, we're doing all this stuff. But at the meantime, we are testing an idea by a Pickful. So we're going to Pickful. We're uploading something that is already on the market with a higher purchase rate. Like I told you, like 2 out of 3 products they've been selling. And we're testing if our idea that we developed is better than this one or worse. And if it's better, then we're better. We're trying to reach the point where it will be 20-80, like where we will win 80% and the competitor will be at 20% or below. So if we're reaching out this point, then we're good, and we're good to go to production.
Okay, got it. So there's a lot to unpack there. So
Yeah.
that it's an interesting way to look at it. So I and when you and I had talked at Surge, you had mentioned using PickFu, which that makes sense. And I don't hear people talk about that very often, of saying like, hey, which would you more likely buy? My cup with the elephant on it, or this cup with the elephant on it. So you're going after some like niche things, it sounds like, not necessarily
Huge
the product
niche.
selling 100 a day.
Yeah. But I'm looking for the potential in sales. So if I understand we found the niche, and this niche will give us probably, I don't know, 2,000 a month, I'm not going to this niche. But if I can analyze and find out that this product, after we'll get some reviews, some means 20, 30 reviews, will be able to sell like at least at $10,000, $15,000, and this number is matching customers' desire, then we're going to this product. We're starting to at least looking into this deeper.
Okay, got it. So you've got the PickFu test to help you figure out if this
make you confused.
Got it. So okay, but I guess where the final part makes sense to me. Like, okay, we've got kind of our mock-up, so to speak, of our product, or a
Mock-up, yeah, you're
test
so
unit,
correct.
or
Yeah.
whatever. So
Mock-up,
you've got
yeah.
that, and you compare that to an existing product in the marketplace. But going back to the beginning of this, the data. So maybe I'm not familiar with seller tools, but how would they even know like
So
what the sell rate is for a keyword?
I believe, what do? They are getting the data from the brand analytics, and they are calculating based on the customer search and how many customers made a purchase based on this specific keyword. And I believe this is how they're calculating and how they're making this number exist. Because Amazon brand analytics are open for anybody. I mean, who has API, right? So if you have the data, you have to figure out what you can do with this data. And seller tools, so far, they're the only one tool who's providing this number. And this number is making a lot of changes when you're doing the product research.
Got it. So they're extrapolating off of brand analytics to figure out on a particular keyword what the sale rate is. So since I'm not familiar, I don't have a basis to go by, but like what would you be looking for in this? So if I had seller tools or another tool comes up with the same data, what would you be looking for?
So I'm looking for the number. If it's like high volume keyword, I'm looking for below 1%. something like 0.7, 0.57, something like that. When I'm narrowing the keyword, for example, like it will be long tail keyword, but it's still like, I don't know, 5, 6,000 of search per month, it's supposed to be not higher than 1.5%. Because if I have more and I have all three competitors, like main 3, 5 competitors who have a very good purchase rate, and they have very good sales per month, I will start considering if like it's more windows for myself, and I will be able actually to jump in, and maybe it's not the real keyword that I should look at. And I have to have at least 5, 7 keywords for this specific product
Hmm.
that will make a point that like, okay, you have 5 main keywords, all of them are below 1%, every single one is relevant to your specific product. And sometimes I also love to look at the keywords when it's not just the specific keyword like reusable cup or disposable cup, when it's like, for example, cup for or decorations for the birthday, for example. And at the same time, it will be, and this product will be relevant and for the decorations and for the disposable cup and probably for like camping cup. So I have different type of the keywords that are relevant to this specific product. So I can go like all over about it. And at the same time, I have to, of course, I have to focus on some of them, but I have to make sure that I have this semantic core that I will be able to expand and develop my product and increase my product sales in the future. So I will not go just like kitchen knife and
Hmm.
it's chief knife, kitchen knife, and the sizes of the knife. And that's it. You're very limited with the keywords there.
Right. So you're looking for something where there's different ways that people might search for it. Like there's
Based
more
on the problems.
synonyms
Yeah.
that people might use to describe a word. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now, are you coming in here saying, okay, I'm looking for keywords that are, that meet these certain thresholds, or are you starting off with an idea of
Um,
these are 3 products I want to
data.
look at?
Data. I'm usually starting with the data. Sometimes I am finding some products outside. Like I am also going to the stores. And honestly, my phone is filled with product ideas that I found somewhere. So sometimes I'm using those. 90% out of 100, I'm not sticking with those ideas, but those ideas are leading me somewhere else.
Got it. But you're at least starting with a general idea of a product.
Sometimes,
Sometimes.
sometimes,
Okay.
yeah. So
But
if you're asking about the start point,
yes.
yeah, the start point is always different. I can start like this. The majority of the times I'm like, okay, let's just take a look what is going on. And I'm just starting scrolling through the products on Amazon, and Amazon is always giving you something else to take a
Hmm.
look. And I am going to the, like, for example, I liked one of the products, just the look of the product. And I'm
Mm.
going to the seller of this product as long as this product is successful, as long as this product having the good numbers. Like a lot of tools are showing it. Helium 10, for example, I'm using them on a daily basis. So I'm like, okay, this product is selling pretty good. Let me see what this seller is selling as well. And I'm checking what are the products he's selling. Then I can go and take a look at the specific keywords of the products that for example, I liked or like has some potential. And then I'm looking at the keywords that this product is indexed for. And during those keywords, at this list of the keywords, I can find something interesting. Like I was presenting at the BDSS, and it was a very nice keyword I was showing. Like one of the examples I was showing, like passport holder. Of course, this niche nobody's supposed to go to. However, inside of the passport holder, I found the passport holder with vaccine card.
Mm.
And this keyword was like at 25, I believe, thousand searches per month. And the purchase rate was so low because when I was also looking at the page, it's been only 2 or 3 competitors. Of course, they've been from China who've been selling the passport holder with the vaccine card. And nobody else were selling that. I'm like, isn't it an opportunity? Of course it is. However, would I go there? Of course not.
Right.
because of lots of reasons. Yeah, but this is how you're finding sometimes the opportunities that you will not even imagine they exist.
Well, that's a good point, because that would be a relatively new thing that people would be looking for passport holder, but they also need this other utility that wasn't a thing more than a year and a half ago.
Yeah,
So people hadn't caught on to that yet. So, okay. Are there
yeah.
any other places you might go to figure out some of these kind of slight variations of a product that
Data
are?
Dive. Data Dive, they have a very nice button called like niche dive. I think it's called niche dive when you're downloading this tool, this extension,
Mhm.
and when you're located on Amazon page, you can click not dive deep. I think dive niche calls. Yeah, dive into the niche, and you have this 90 seconds till this window will pop up, and you'll be able to see the relevant keywords, the relevant products, something just inside of this niche, and you can find so many opportunities there. I'm keep
Mm.
playing with this tool because it's still new, and their algorithm is like also learning right now based on
Mhm.
like, of course, based on people's behavior, but you can find so many different things there as well. And
Okay.
of course, I'm exploring the influencers, I'm exploring the market, what people are talking about. Sometimes we're looking at the forums, sometimes we're just asking customers what they want, and they're like, I want toys for kids. I'm like, okay, stay
All
there.
right. Let's go a little more specific.
Yeah. Yeah. So stay there. Let's take a look. And I'm like, okay, if they want something for kids, let's see what else we can do. But that will not be so crazy.
So,
Like
so
right
you're
now,
going to influencers and asking them what type of things they want to promote?
sometimes we're just checking what they're promoting and how they are entertaining their audience,
Hmm.
and what they're talking about, what their audience talking to them about. And sometimes we're asking, okay, so look, what your audience is actually interested, like what products you've been promoting, what they're asking for, what they're not asking for. Do you think like this product will be good or this product will not be good? And they're giving you the feedback.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're talking to them, sometimes it's one of the approaches that I believe Tim Jordan was talking about. I don't remember where, maybe it was LA. And he said you should put the influencer's logo on you, or like their name on top of your product. And influencers are super happy because now their names is somewhere. And when they're promoting, Amazon attribution is more than welcome to pay them 10% as well. I mean, the Amazon is paying you, you're paying them.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this approach is also worse, but it's already more, it's more about marketing. However, when you're searching for the product, influencers are super helpful today.
Got it. And that'd be interesting. So if you develop a relationship with influencers in a particular niche and you get feedback on what people are talking about, what their audience are talking about, I could see how they would be a lot more likely to promote it
Yeah,
if they had kind of a hand in it, because now they kind of probably feel an emotional attachment to it. And if you just say,
yeah,
"Hey, I'm launching a product, will you promote it?" and they probably just will delete the email.
yeah. Or like if your name will be on it, it's already different.
Right, right, right. So actually putting their name on the product.
Yeah, this is like one of I we didn't do it yet, but I heard a lot of people are doing this right now, especially after like gurus like Tim Jordan and someone else was talking about it also. Like
Okay.
that influencers are super welcoming with this particular stuff, but influencers are happy to answer. Most of them are happy to answer about their audience, what they're looking for, and what will be useful for them, especially when you are observing the influencers who are taking care of their audience, and the influencers who are trying to make their account useful and not just about my selfie here, my selfie
Right,
there.
right, 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 right.
Yeah, yeah, because like a lot of influencers like those, and like their audience is absolutely different. They're not buyers.
Right, right, right. Yeah, you want to find someone who's got an audience around a topic of some sort and not
Yeah,
just
yeah,
attractiveness of the
yeah. I have one
influencer or something.
influencer. I believe she's in Brussels, and I was talking to her to her the other day. She's showing how to do like face massage and how to do like
Right.
different masks and all this stuff, and she's teaching people how to do that. And I was talking like, what do you think will be useful? And she was talking about some type of massagers that will be useful for the face. I'm like, damn, that will be super hard to launch on Amazon because a lot of like Chinese in this niche, and like it's hard. But at the same time, if you have 3, 4 influencers like her who
Hmm.
has subscriptions and all this stuff, they will send people to buy this massager to Amazon all
Hmm.
the time. And guess what will happen? You'll get the reviews, your product will be ranked, and then the competition is not really bad for you because also if you'll put the transparency on your product and you have the trademark, then and if Rich Gal's team will also do for you the patent, then you are secure like all the way. But it's about launching, right? So if like you can launch successfully, finding out how you can bond with one of the influencers or 3, 4 of them, you can be pretty successful there.
Yeah, that's interesting because the other day, um, I was returning something at Kohl's, and my son was with me, and of course, he wanted to go into the toy section, and we're looking at stuff, and I'm just noticing that some people may be familiar with this, some people may not. There's an influencer named Ryan's World. Although I think he might be getting too old to be an influencer now. Although he's not that, it means like 9, maybe at the
Okay.
most. But he was like, at one point, he was the highest paid YouTuber from
Okay.
YouTube ads. And so for a while, there was a lot of Ryan's World toys coming out. And so some of them happened to be at Kohl's, but his stuff was mass marketed at like Kohl's and Target and, mainstream places, but he would not be an accessible influencer. But there's probably some other influencers that it might be difficult to come in and just say, hey, promote my product, but to say, hey, I will pay for it if we put your name on it. You're taking a little bit of a risk that they're actually going to promote it, but why wouldn't they if they see that they can make some money on it, and also uh you know
And they don't
basically
have
it's
to
their
invest
face
into
on
the
it.
product.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that I could see that working. So they have something to sell to their audience, but they don't have to
Produce
invest in it.
anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, produce it.
Yeah.
And
You
so
just, yeah, it's okay. It's my name. I can promote it. Perfect. And I can make money on it. Yep.
right, exactly. So and so that's an interesting take. That's an interesting take, partnering with an influencer there. So any other advice for folks as they're looking for products to sell on Amazon? Because these are some different ways that I hadn't really heard of before.
Yeah, of course. So first of all, don't be prisoner of your personal idea. So
I
if you
like
want to
that.
sell something on Amazon, it doesn't mean it's gonna work.
Hmm.
If you are coming to the market saying market doesn't have it, please check the demand. Because if demand is not there, doesn't mean market is missing. Market
Hmm.
probably is not even asking for that.
Hmm.
So develop the custom that will not put you in a position that you will have to that you'll have to pay for the product to sell it. So you have to be with your development at the cost of goods while you will still have your margin and you will be able to cover your expenses. Don't look at the cheap products because the window in between your advertisement and your net cost and everything else will be pretty small. So it's no room to grow unless you will use one of the approaches like post-purchase pro. Sean Hart is pushing pretty hard on the market when like you have to have one of the cheap products when you will kill the market with this like small price to get to the email list and you'll be able to promote your customers, but it's a different story.
Right.
So this is like the exception. So don't go to the cheap products. Try to be in like market in between 29.59, 39.49. So it's a good space to be, especially given that a lot of new sellers, they don't want to buy more expensive products.
Hmm.
So you're already giving yourself some advantage. And of course, use data. Don't stick just with one software. Use several. Read
Mm.
the data. Look at the ad spy at Smart Scout because they're providing you pretty nice data about the product win on the product, based on the product research, based on the keyword research, based on the brand research. So you can always analyze which keywords will be more beneficial, at least in the beginning, and hire the specialists for at least your PPC, because if you've never been in a market and if you don't know what PPC means, you have to have someone who is really good at it since the very, very beginning. And yeah, your product's supposed to be different. Don't go with the same face. You'll be lost in the crowd.
Awesome. I definitely agree. Find somebody to zig while others are zagging with your product and
Yep.
make it a little bit different. Don't just throw up the same barbecue glove.
Yep. Correct.
Yes. Well,
Their
good
own
deal.
product.
Well, thank you so much, Isabella. For folks that want to follow you and learn more, where would you like them to go?
LinkedIn,
Okay.
and yeah, LinkedIn Izabella Ritz, and my website is Ritz Arm, RITZ, and arm like hand,
Okay.
ritzarm.com. Yeah, find us there, and I will be happy to help in my agency and my team. We all are here. So designers, copywriters, marketing specialists who are developing the products. So we all are here to help.
Awesome. And that is Isabella with a Z.
With Isabella with the Z and the double L. Yeah, thank you for asking. It's
Yes.
two Isabellas in the, yeah,
Izabella.
yeah.
Yes.
Two
Awesome.
Isabellas in the space with this same similar name. One is spelling with the one L, Isabella Hamilton, and I'm Isabella Reeds with two L's.
Ah,
So
gotcha. So
yeah,
good to know. Good to point out on both points. So yes, and we
yeah,
will have links to that in the show notes to ritzarm.com and your LinkedIn page as well. And if you're watching this on YouTube, it'll be in the description below. So, and if you're listening on audio, it'll be in the show notes. So this
perfect.
has been an interesting conversation. Thank you so much, Isabella, for providing a lot of great ways to look at things from different angles.
Thank you. I'm happy to help, and thank you for having me on the podcast.
Thank you.